Well, the dust is still settling from last night's presidential debate. Donald Trump and President Joe Biden definitely had a lot to say about each other.
Yeah, but what about the big issues, things like the economy and immigration? Fox 13 political editor Craig Patrick watched it all and brings us some of the highlights.
Well, it was not a good night for President Biden. That much is immediately clear, and we'll work through some of the reasons why in just a moment. But you also have, I think, a growing number of concerns from voters who are worried about the ages of both candidates, because there was perhaps a key question in this debate in which both candidates were asked how they would reassure voters that their age would not get in the way of their ability to lead. And when given the opportunity to address that question, and polls show that is a big question, ultimately Biden just cited some prior accomplishments and then said Trump is only 3 years younger. And then Trump then responded to the same question by citing the basic cognitive test that he took years ago. And then at that point, they quarreled over golf.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf with you if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie, that he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to turn.
Let's not act like children.
Now, that kind of exchange is not going to impress voters. Again, a growing number who have concerns about the ages of both candidates. But if you score this on style, on the issue of energy, Trump gets the nod. Which candidate was smoother? Clearly, that would have been former President Trump, because at several points, President Biden was halting in his responses. He was very hoarse and raspy, particularly at the beginning, perhaps a sign that he might have over-prepared for the debate. Trump was more articulate. Biden struggled at point with words. In fact, in reaching for words, sometimes he reached for the wrong ones, like saying that he beat Medicare when perhaps he meant to say either he beat COVID or he beat Big Pharma. That's just one example. With all of that in mind, you could score this as a short-term victory for former President Trump. But bear in mind, this is an unusually early debate with some 5 months to go, and most voters locked in on one candidate or the other. This may not have a big impact on the polls, and what little impact it might have might not bear through given all the other pivot points we're likely to have between now and Election Day. We'll continue to break down the debate on policy and style and so much more coming up on Good Day. Craig Patrick, Fox 13 News.